Hi there, everyone. I'm James Milan. Welcome to this town hall update. I am joined, as I always am, by Jim Feeney, our town manager. We're glad to have him here, and we will be discussing a handful of topics today. We're going to hear about the new agendas and minutes portal that was launched earlier this week on the town's website. The Council on Aging is hosting what they call a legal talk event, and that's going to discuss important things for elders like property tax relief, tax referral, reverse mortgages, and the like. We also want to talk about the 4th annual Lunar New Year celebration that's going to be coming up shortly, and the Spring Civic Academy application period, which is now open. But how can we not start with the reality of all of our lives for the last little while, and that's the snow. We got a ton of it, maybe some more expected, lots of cold, probably people are still digging out. What do residents need to know, Jim?
Sure. Thank you, James. That is true that snow operations continue as we dig out from what has been probably the biggest winter storm we've seen in a number of years. Obviously want to thank our public works crews and contractors. They were out there starting at 11 a.m. Sunday and worked through 5 a.m. Tuesday morning, clearing snow and treating the roadways. And for some DPW employees, the event actually began at 8 a.m. Sunday with a water main break, where they then, secured that scene and then transitioned to snow and ice operations. So kudos to them. That is a very extensive period of time to be working continuously.
If my math is right, you're talking about nearly 48 hours for people to be working continuously from DPW. That is something.
So obviously, that's during the active portion of the event. During the height of the event, we're out there, keeping public ways open, plowing and treating, and then sort of after the snow subsides and the guys get a little bit of rest, the guys and girls, we transition to what we call cleanup operations. So on Wednesday during the day, we began clearing priority intersections around school buildings. And then yesterday, Wednesday night, during the overnight hours into early Thursday morning, we began cleanup operations along Mass Ave. So these are there to target major intersections, crosswalks, handicap parking spots, bus stops, and we even spent a little bit of time in the Russell Common lot in the wee hours of this particular morning. And then, the crews will be back at it today during the day out in the neighborhoods, working on routes to schools to make sure kids can get to school safely. And then we'll be back at it again overnight tonight along Max Ave, and then hopefully doing some work on Broadway as well to clean up our commercial corridors and business districts. So we've had to start, there's so much snow there, we can't just move it around. We've had to start trucking it to the Grove Street site. And if we run out of capacity there, we may need to actually engage in melting operations, as it isn't even February yet, and we're sort of going to be up against our capacity for storing snow off-site. So certainly the conditions have been challenging. It has been extremely cold each day. There's really no relief in sight in terms of significant melting and sort of shrinking back the narrowness of the roads. But I just want to thank all the team for their ongoing commitment to cleaning up after the storm. And I hate to say it, but we do this to prepare for the next, right? New England, and it's not February yet, so we can expect to get at least a few more events this year, and we really need to make room for that snow in the roadways as everything is tight and narrow. So, I want to thank our residents as well, because it was a big snow event, and obviously they have the obligation for cleaning abutting sidewalks, and we appreciate that. I would say if there's anything that helps us out the most is just not pushing snow back into the public way after we've plowed and treated the roads, because then, if we're not swinging back by, it's going to freeze up and potentially create some hazardous conditions. But also, keep an eye on your fire hydrants and catch basins as well. Those are things we, sort of have to circle back to at the very end, but obviously many of our residents take ownership over them, and we greatly appreciate that, because there are so many assets out there in the community that need attention, and we don't have the resources to address them all right away.
Yeah, it's, not much more needs to be said. I'll just acknowledge a big snow event, as you said, then this super unusual enduring cold. And then more snow to come perhaps this weekend is what we're hearing. So it's going to demand patience on a lot of people's parts and cooperation. So
Agreed.
let us all get through this together. All right, let's move on to talk about the agendas and minutes portal.
Sure. So we're excited to launch what we're calling the Agendas and Minutes portal, as you noted. This past Monday, sort of what we're considering a major step toward unifying all our digital public meeting documents to this new online system. So all of our boards, committees, and commissions started posting their agendas and minutes to the new Agendas and Minutes portal on the town's website. We generate thousands of meeting of documents annually, and currently those documents live in multiple places on our website, some of them with specific committees, some of them in an older portal that only served certain boards. So unifying them into one platform will allow the public to quickly find upcoming meetings of interest and related documents. Obviously, we hope that anytime the community is more well informed, they'll be able to provide better feedback and be more engaged in their local democracy. Some of the other benefits of the system I would highlight are it's got a much improved keyword search functionality that will allow folks to search for topic matters of interest across multiple boards, committees, and commissions, so you don't have to go checking with individual sites where we have upwards of 80 boards, committees, and commissions. So moving forward, you'll be able to find everything in one place, which is sort of a great help. Also, the new platform posts clear time and date stamps on the agendas, so we have better record keeping of when things were published and available to the public, which assists us with open meeting law compliance. The project also provided the opportunity for the town to create standardized templates for agendas and minutes. Before, it was a bit of a free-for-all with the 80 groups sort of having their own fonts, stylistic interpretations, right? They looked and felt very different. But in unifying and sort of working off of templates that are standardized, it'll make the information more user-friendly for the public because they're used to seeing it in a particular format. Also contribute to staff efficiency. We'll get everyone onto the same templates. But also, when they were constructed, it was done to build in ADA compliance, which supports our efforts to comply with the Department of Justice's final rule regarding the accessibility of web content for state and local governments. So, we take every opportunity, and this was one big opportunity, to make sure we're working towards making our public materials accessible to all. So I want to give my thanks to our communications team, Joan Roman and Marissa Martin, for leading up this effort. Not only did they build the templates, they trained over 70 staff and committee volunteers in the creation of ADA compliant meetings and agendas and minutes, So it's been a huge undertaking, but will result in making all these important documents more easily found and accessible to all. So we're looking forward to it.
Kudos to Joan and Marissa for sure. That is a huge undertaking. And I did have a chance to look at the portal that you're talking about earlier. A couple of things stood out. One is all the ease of use that you're talking about. It seems like it's going to be very clear and intuitive for people to use, which is great. And then the second thing was you scroll down and you're talking about the fact that there are 80 different kinds of entities, boards, committees, et cetera. Another example of just how many people are involved in making this town the kind of quality place it is. So, all right, moving on. Council on Aging. As I mentioned, there's an event coming up where a bunch of topics are going to be addressed.
So on February 3rd, the Council on Aging, through the Executive Director, Christine Shaw, and with the help of elder law attorney Alex Michella, as well as our Director of Assessments, Dana Mann, are going to be pulling together a program to share information on various property tax relief programs that are in place for our seniors. And that also includes discussion on property tax deferrals, as well as reverse mortgages. So we just wanted to invite members of our senior community to join us for this informative discussion. There's going to be an opportunity to ask questions, to pick up applications for the things you may qualify for. We just ask that you register in advance by calling the Council on Aging at 781-316-3400. And again, that event will be on Tuesday, February 3rd at 1 p.m. in the main hall of the Community Center at 27 Maple Street. So come learn about some of the property tax relief options that exist for our residents.
Yeah, I know that relief for seniors, senior homeowners and senior residents here in town is a very big concern for lots of folks in town and lots of folks in town hall. So here's a good example of that. All right, and on our calendar, getting back to our kind of annual calendar, a theme that we often touch on here in the updates, we have something else coming up.
Sure. So we have the 4th annual Lunar New Year celebration. Hard to believe it's already in the 4th year. It feels like we just launched it, but it was, a great success. So glad to be having this event return annually. It's going to be on February 14th from 4 to 8 p.m. at Arlington High School. So this now annual celebration brings together hundreds of students, families, educators, and community members. We'll feature community and student performances, including music and dance, cultural displays, and hands-on activities that highlight traditions from various cultures that celebrate the Lunar New Year. So many Arlington Public School students participate as performers, volunteers, and audience members, and this is really a meaningful extension of cultural learning and community engagement through the Arlington High School. So on the agenda from 4 to 6 p.m. will be the cultural crafts and hands-on activities, and then from 6 to 8 p.m. Will be a slate of performances. This is all presented by Arlington's DEI division, the Mass Cultural Council, Arlington High School and student groups, as well as the Chinese American Association of Arlington. So thank you to everyone for your efforts to put this on, and please come on out. It's a free event, and I think everyone would enjoy it.
Great. And, as you said, hard to believe it's already been 4 years. Seems like we're talking about the Civic Academy either starting or ending all the time as well. But talk about the spring session.
Yeah, hard to be thinking about spring given what has transpired this week with the snow. But we are opening the Spring Civic Academy application period. So as a refresher, or for those who are not familiar with it, the Civic Academy is geared towards providing information to those who are interested in joining one of the town's many boards or committees, or may want to run for town meeting or perhaps some other elected office. But there is certainly no obligation to do so, though many graduates do move on to participate in different areas of town government. We even, Civic Academy even brought us an employee at one point. So just important to note that participants will gain knowledge of how the town works and the role they may be able to play in their town government. So there are 6 2-hour sessions held over consecutive weeks and at different locations around town between April 9th and May 14th. So you get the opportunity to visit a whole number of town buildings that you may not otherwise ever have the opportunity to go in, so you get to experience those spaces. And each weekly course provides an overview of government operations led by the town officials, and there's time for questions and discussions, so you get to meet many employees and department heads as well as other town leaders who give so much to the community. So if interested, please apply by March 8th. It is a wonderful program.
Yeah, and just like the police department does with its academy, the town really opens itself up. The town, town's administration really opens itself up to those who enroll here. So that's great. So I just want to, anything else to cover, Jim?
That's it for today.
All right, so let's just give a reminder to our audience that ACMi will be at both the Legal Talk event at the Council on Aging that we were discussing earlier and the Lunar New Year event. For community media coverage, you can count on ACMi to be there for those events. And you'll be able to see them again on the channels if you missed them. So just a reminder to you folks out there, ACMi is here for those purposes and others, and happy to do so.
Great.
All right, well, thank you very much to Jim Feeney, our town manager. As always, on top of a whole bunch of information to share with us. We appreciate it. We appreciate his time. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us on this Town Hall Update. I'm James Milan. See you next time.